The greater the pain, the greater the value. The lesser the pain, the lesser the value.
I feel personally attacked with this.
I know you would.
Listen, if you'll just get me with the Shark Week people, I will be boring for the rest of my life. Like, that's it. That's fine.
I'm telling you, man. Okay, so sales habits that lead to profits. The first thing that we're gonna really have you guys see is the rest of your day is formed by the beginning of it. So alignment first is the number one thing that is going to give you all the results. Your alignment with sales is really going to give you the rest of your day. Like, all results are going to come through how you set that day up for success. So when you're in alignment with sales and really have it as service, and we'll clear those, but we're going to look into the relationship you have with it, but it's going to be inside of that. It really is the game changer. So alignment first. And so you guys can feel that alignment has more to do with the way you feel than it has anything to do with the mind. So feel that, guys. If I'm reaching out to someone and I'm coming from an incredible feeling place, feel the difference in that versus I reach out to someone and I'm scared, nervous, making it all about me. Feel how that interaction is going to feel energetically completely different. And everybody's reading energy, even if they don't know they're doing it. So they're not really reading what you say as much as what the energy is behind the way you're saying it. So number one is alignment first. That's going to really set your day. So number two, know your numbers. You cannot hit a target you don't even know you're aiming at. It's just not possible. So we want to reverse engineer. Really, you want to look at the goal that you have for the year and what that number is, and then reverse engineer it down, break it all down into what's that per quarter, and then what's that per month. So all you need to focus on is what you need to do each month. It's a very simple, I only focus on 20 people. That's it. If I hit 20 people here, everything else I hit all my numbers everywhere else. All I focus is on 20. So you don't need to be a math person. I don't think in numbers. I'm not a math person. I don't think mathematically. Michael is all in math. Like, he remembers dates and times and da-da-da. I don't think anything like that. So the great news is, if you're not a math person, you can make millions and have nothing to do with knowing math. What is the key is I don't live with a bunch of numbers in my head. I only know the 20. Because I only know 20, I hit it all the time. Does that make sense? Like, I don't care how I hit it. I'm not sold on, like, I don't need to be like, it has to come through the book funnel or it has to come the live line. No, it can be any way of those things, but I will hit 20 people. So I'm flexible in the approach, but I'm 100% committed on the end number. Right? So 20 ideal clients. So number two is know your numbers, because number two, when you know your numbers, right, which is what I mean by, like, we've reverse engineer it and you just know that's what that number is okay, for per month, I need this many people. When you know your numbers, this is what makes everything doable. Yeah, so you have a maximum of 20 on my tours. So this makes it really easy. Yes. And as you scale this, Tanya, you can see that if it takes 20 people to go on tours, then you would double your business with 40. You would just add a second tour guide or a second, right? So you can see that then all it is about is doubling it, right? That's all we have to do. Once we know the numbers, the way we double, we just literally double it. So whatever it took, the positions it took to have that 20 filled inside of it, how are we doubling that? And it doesn't necessarily mean that every position needs to be doubled. I'm saying, but all you have to do is double the numbers. So then you start to see what needs to be filled to make that happen. So yeah, know your numbers. Number three, once you know your numbers, now you have to know what are your number one profit generating activity, your number two, and your number three. There should never be more than three. Like when you're looking at your calendar, which I will show you my calendar, everything is on that wall, meaning I know exactly the numbers we're going to hit based on exactly how many front end courses we have. We do 6 live launches to onboard those 20 people plus the book funnel. So literally it's all broken out. So when you know your numbers, then you know what is your number 1 profit generating activity, what's your number 2, and if there is a third, what's the third one, right? But you would never have more than 3. In general, there wouldn't be more than 3, because it really is, you guys want to feel this, it's about doing less better. It's not about doing more. It's about doing less better. What I mean by that is I had a billionaire, I can't remember which one it was out of the 2 that I know, but one of them said something really brilliant once to me. And he said, because you guys can feel, if you'll feel this, a lot of people don't create the results they want because they are addicted to the squirrel, 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 right? Like that shiny object. Oh, but that sounds like fun. Like, in fact, to the point that a lot of times what I get is people saying, but I don't find that fun anymore. Great. When you don't find it fun, but you still want to do that, you just don't find it fun, you should be building your team, because they should be doing that now, and you should be doing the fun parts inside of the zone of genius. But once, when it was fun for you, it was once fun, right? We want to make sure that why I'm saying this, the billionaire said to me one time, Mia, I've made billions out of boring. Like, feel that. I do the same thing over and over and over and over again, right? It should not, like, your sex life should be amazing, and that should be adventurous, and your experiences should be amazing. You should definitely have an incredible lifestyle and go on incredible adventures and experiences, but your business should be boring. I don't care where you are in the stage of it, eventually it should be boring. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't start out doing what you love, but eventually it's got to be boring, or you're actually not going to be doing less better. What people will do instead is, because they get bored, they get off track, and then they stop doing what's working and improving that, like, substantially, keep improving. They stop doing that and they start doing other things. If I told you how many people do that, because it takes discipline to, like, actually keep making the same thing even more better and more better and more better and more better. Not doing a lot, doing the same thing better over and over again. Tweak. And if you guys will do this, if you will refrain from wanting to get off of that path of, like, once you nail it, once you nail your ideal client, and once you know your business model and you are able to quantify, if you will stay the path, stay the journey, and just tweak, you will soar past so many people that even started at the same time you might have started in doing it. You will pass people who've been doing it even longer, because people don't do this. It's so simple, it's missed. Like, we have to slow down in order to speed up. So in order to be able to slow down to speed up, we can't cram our calendar filled with all these other new ideas that we're going to do when there's only a top 3 profit generating activities that you do. That's all there should be. If you've got more than 3, we've got to see what's going on, because there's usually the number 1 winner, and then there's a number 2, and then there can be a number 3, right? Like, my third one will be, I'm redoing my website, and I'll bring in a guy that I had on my radar for a long time who specializes in SEO, and he'll run traffic from my website and on YouTube's. And I've never done that. So that will be a third avenue of profit for us inside of a book funnel, a live launch, and then a YouTube. But by then I'm looking to increase my, where we'll be doubling the front end. But just so you guys can see, there's only 3, right? I only have 2 right now. And for the longest time, I only had 1. right? So just so that that's landing. I mean, yeah, good, Kelsey. I know, Kelsey, I'm thinking about you. Exactly. You can't, I know you love shiny objects, but you got to reel that in. The way we deal with that is, this is what I said. What we deal with that is we go have adventures, right? We go to South Africa and go out with the guys in Shark Week. We do amazing experiences. We just don't let our business be the one that we're trying to make it like be something that's like always a high on, because to, like, I'm going to quote my friend who said, you know, Mia, I've made billions on boring. I'm betting on boring. It really is. It's not what people like to hear, because people want this sexy, fictitious story that is only exists in the movies. But it really doesn't really look like that. It doesn't mean we don't have fun. I love what I do, but it's not what people think.
I feel personally attacked with this.
I know you would.
Listen, if you'll just get me with the Shark Week people, I will be boring for the rest of my life. Like, that's it. That's fine.
I'm telling you, man, it's so good. It's so good. We love going out with the guys with Shark Week, but this is that's where the fun and excitement comes from, is on the experiences you get to have, because you will make so much money when you do it the way I'm telling you to do it. You will make so much money. You can take all of those trips.
I'm trying to be more boring. I really am.
Yeah, I know.
I'm trying hard.
It really takes something. It takes something. It really does. Because if you're an adrenaline junkie, which is usually why people get into entrepreneurship, just so, to be straight, right? Because it's kind of like, your entrepreneurship is like, we don't know how we're going to do it. We throw ourselves off the cliff and then put the parachute on the way down, right? Like, you don't know, you're creating something from nothing. And that's one of the things that we love about entrepreneurship, because we didn't want to be bored.
Yeah, that's exactly me.
Okay, I know. And here's the thing, this is so important. Allow your business to be boring in its systems. Still have fun in it, but allow the systems to be boring, because you want to do less better. Now, like, let me give you an example, because I heard Russell Brunson talk about this, and I thought it was a great way to explain this. So meaning, like, let's say, so as an example, everybody know who Russell Brunson is. He's like a multi-millionaire who invented ClickFunnels, and it's a system I use to drive traffic. So one of the things he said is that I loved is, I'm looking at mistakes, is he said the same thing. He said, I would do something, and then I'd be like, oh, okay, all right, I made, like, let's just say, I think he shared a story. Don't quote me on the numbers because I don't retain numbers, but let's just say he said, I think we made, like, at the time that I ran that particular, you know, selling thing, we made, let's say, 30,000. I don't remember the number, but it was something like low, right? 30,000. He said, the mistake that I would make is then I'd be like, okay, and then I would do something totally different.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. You got to bet on being boring. So what he would do is then he would totally do something different. He says he goes, recently, I did something that I had done 30,000 on. And this time I put a team member on it. And I said, hey, your job is to take this and run with it. Mm-hmm. Your job is to really get this performing at a high level. He goes, you know what blew my mind? And I was like, oh my God, this is so funny. I can only imagine, because I know the guy fucking crushed it out of the park. He's like, the guy pulled off $200,000 launch when I had done 30,000 on my one time. The guy put in and ended up doing a $200,000 launch on that same thing. That's what I'm saying. Where he said, what the mistake is we can tend to think, again, that is boring, and we need to do something else because it didn't work right out the park. Okay. Yeah. Really, it's because we didn't bet on boring. We didn't look for how can we do this now even better? Like, where are all the small tweaks? And I can promise you this, they don't record their sales calls. So they don't use the exact messaging their people say in their head. The reason my sales page converts so high is because it's literally your guys' voices verbatim. Yeah. That is huge. Okay.
I've been recording every single call.
Everything. Good. That's awesome. Yay. Can you imagine how boring it is to get all the shots actually needed for Shark Week? Great example. Exactly. Right? Exactly. That's exactly it.
That would be
So,
really thrilling for me, but I don't think for anyone else they would have any. I would be like, I don't care how many shots, I don't care how long I'm out here. The minute I get to see one, it'll all be worth it.
yes. And it is incredible, but in like, just so that you guys can feel this in your businesses when you start, it is incredible, and it still is incredible. And there are times if you're doing too much of it all at one time where you can be like, okay, I need a break, right? Like you can feel, doesn't mean you're not doing your life work. It just means that there are times where it will feel not as romantic, right? But it doesn't mean that there's something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Feel the difference. The ego will make it mean, oh, that there must be something wrong because it doesn't feel as fascinating or something today. No, it just means maybe you need to bring in another pair of eyes, be able to get something looked at to see how could you milk this to another level. Like it doesn't mean something's wrong. It really, I would always say, make, like when we're going to look at something, we're going to always look to see what's working, what's not working, and what's missing that would really have this work. Like we always are wanting to pull back from a big picture view and look at that and self-assess what's really working, what's not working, and what's missing that would really have this work. And having another pair of eyes is always so good. Like I cannot stress, I still to this day, I will pay for experts to come in, 8-figure experts to come in and look at things for me and consult me on like, what do they see that I'm just so close to it? I can't see it in the sale. Like I just can't see it. And so we're always testing. We're always testing to see how can we improve that, because the big money is in the small changes. Really, guys, think about that. It's like the small changes your percentage rate on everything. It's huge. It's like huge. It's the small things that make the big results. It's not the big things, it's the small. So number 2 is know your numbers. Number 3, so what are the number 1, number 2, and 3 profit generating activities, right? We have to know what those are. If you're just starting out, it's going to be like doing reach outs, right? Doing follow-ups, like reaching out to people, doing mini connect calls. Well, don't worry, we'll go over all these things as we go, but just wanted to like say that out loud. Like if you're starting out, it's going to be, you've got to make sure you've quantified that this is a proof of concept. You got to see that people really want to buy what you're selling. So we've got to get that dialed in. When you do reach outs, follow-ups, and mini connect calls, what you're doing in essence is qualifying your leads into a database, right? So feel that, like these are cold traffic. So in order to take a cold traffic, reach out to someone that doesn't know you, be able to convert them from cold to close, that takes a certain skill set, which you're going to learn on these calls, but it takes a certain skill set. You must need to know how to go from cold to close. I don't care if you're in retail. I don't care if you're on online space. I don't care whatever it is that you think you do, that it might be, you think it's different than what everybody else is doing. I promise you, every single person in business needs to understand what it really takes to go from cold to close. And it's a feeling. Yes, there's an exact science of like what needs to happen, but feel that inside of what everybody always talks about, they have to know, like, and trust you. Yes, but how do we actually develop that skill? How does somebody who doesn't know us go from know, like, and trust us in order to give us their money? There's an actual specifics of that, and we're going to help you develop those skills, but that's really important to understand, right? So then sales calls, right? So another one of your profit generating activities is going to be sales calls. So anything on high ticket is got to be gone into a sales conversation, right? Landing pages, they usually say on average, like really great sales pages will convert maybe at the highest offer is $9.97, but that's really, it has to be so incredible. Most often not more than $97, and then less people will take $2.97. Right? But cold traffic, $6. That's why a book funnel at $6 is easy to convert. Because people, like, even if they don't know you, even if the copy convert and it really speaks to them, they don't really know you, have heard of you. $6 book isn't like threatening, right? Because we have to overcome their biggest concerns, like, which is always the fear that they've made a bad decision, or they're going to look bad by buying yours and you were really a scam. They don't want to look bad. So we're always having to overcome their greatest concern, that they made a bad decision, right?